Welcome to my fitness and nutrition slideshow. I am going to talk to you a little bit about just some different aspects that you might find helpful. Probably won't take as long as I do with a normal class, but we'll get started here. All right, for those of you who don't know me, I am Holly and Holly Hardy. This is my website, Transform Fitness. Let me get my pointer up here. Yeah. TransformFitnessUtah.com. I have online and personal training stuff and meal planning, all kinds of things. I'm a certified personal trainer, CSCS, certified strength and conditioning specialist. I have a sports nutrition background, and I got my bachelor's in education from BYU as well. Other things about me, I love biking. I attempted to run for a while, then decided I don't like running. Did a couple triathlons. Had cancer, beat that. I've had back injuries that kind of were worse before I started lifting and have gotten better with time. I also have a severely disabled daughter that I have to care for and move around. So being fit and strong is very important to me. And I also have a 7-year-old son with lots of energy. So another reason to be healthy and fit. All right. So one of the big things I believe in is whatever changes you make, they need to fit your lifestyle. Because I believe in changes that you can keep forever. So if your changes don't fit your life, then you're not going to maintain them. For instance, the first rule of healthy eating: improve what you eat, but don't force feed yourself food you don't like. So, for instance, before I learned the basics of nutrition and how to align nutrition with my physical fitness, I thought that I went to a nutritionist and I thought, oh my goodness, I am going to have to learn to eat quinoa and love it, because quinoa is just something I hate. And I just thought that was just part of the deal. That's how healthy people eat. That's how skinny people eat. So anyway, so I was trying to mentally prepare myself for that. But then I found out you don't have to eat things you don't like. You might not be, now granted, you're not going to be eating cheeseburgers every day or whatever, but you're going to improve the things you eat. But you don't have to force feed yourself food you don't like, because if that were the case, then the transition would never stick. The other thing is, if you hate running, don't use running as a way to get in shape or lose weight. So the same thing goes for fitness, basically. If it's something you don't like, then don't do it, because you're not going to stick with it. So in order to really transform, you have to make sacrifices. That's true, but only what you can stick with. Okay, so let's start on the nutrition side of things with protein. All right, if you're ever trying to lose weight, protein is your best friend. If you're trying to put on muscle, protein is your best friend. If you're an endurance athlete, you're stripping muscle a lot because of the hours and hours you spend running or biking or swimming. So yes, protein is your best friend. So increasing your protein intake, especially when you're in a calorie deficit. That means when you're trying to lose weight and you're restricting your calories, even if it's, most of the time I recommend about 300 calories less a day if you want to lose weight. So that's not a lot, but at the same time, it's enough that you'll have muscle loss. But increasing your protein intake will help to avoid that. So I aim for 15 to 20 grams of protein every 3 to 4 hours. So it's like a protein shake, 4 or 5 ounces of chicken, protein bars, that kind of thing. So here's some types of protein for anybody interested: lean beef, chicken, fish, lean pork, turkey, eggs, whey protein, cottage cheese, jerky, and there's many more. But these are complete proteins that will react well in your body to help build muscle. All right, moving on to carbs. Carbs are not bad. They get a bad rap. Carbs are what our body wants to use for energy right away when we're exercising, especially. But they do need to be controlled because carbohydrates can be one of the first things that turn to glucose, turn to storage. So we don't want that to happen in excess. That's how you get excess fat. So consume appropriate carbs, whole grains, brown rice, oatmeal, fruits, vegetables. All of these guys are your appropriate carbs. Now, skipping the vegetables for a second, if you look at the simple versus complex carbs, think of simple as man-made. These are your white breads, your white pasta, your white flours, your sugary like pastries and other delicious things are your simple carbs. Your complex are your natural carbs. So whole wheat, hasn't been refined, hasn't been enriched. It's all natural, so to speak. Your brown rice and things like that. And also vegetables and fruits are in the complex carbs category. So in terms of controlling body fat, simple and complex carbs are very important to know because simple carbs enter the bloodstream and act as a stimulant to trigger the release of insulin. That's what I was trying to say. And when insulin's triggered, when the release of insulin is triggered, then you have insulin is a storage hormone. So your body wants to store fat. So when that insulin is released, your body's wanting to store it if it's not used right away. So simple carbs, that's the problem we get there, is that they go in and out really fast. They give you, they're sugars. They're like sugars, so they give you a quick boost of energy, but then they don't keep you full very long. And so you tend to eat more, and that's where you get to overeating calories. And then we also, of course, have the effect of the insulin release, insulin storage. We store fat, like I said. So always try to go for the complex carbs. Now, starchy and fibrous vegetables. Starchy, you're talking about your potatoes, corn, peas, foods like that. And then fibrous are your like lettuces and your broccoli, cauliflower, and such. And these vegetables are best. The fibrous vegetables are great, and I kind of give people just free reign to eat those pretty much as they can, because it's hard to overeat them, for one thing. Like, they're very filling. You digest most of the vegetable, and so it ends up being pooped out later. So they don't have as much They don't have as much effect on the fat storage in your body, but they are obviously very full of nutrients that we need. Okay, I'm going to skip forward. So carbs, remember, look for complex carbs, whole wheat, brown rice, oats, things like that. More fibrous veggies than starchy veggies. Don't be afraid of fruits. That would be my other thought. Fat, 9 calories per gram. That is the killer with fats. So you have to remember you're getting more than twice the calories for each gram of fat you eat than you would get for each gram of carb or protein. So very, very important that you don't overeat these. Another thing to take into account is that fat-free usually equals high carbs. So, whenever you see fat-free foods, that usually, like, you may think, oh, fat-free, it won't make me fat, but guess what? They're usually high in carbs, and usually the reason they're high in carbs is because they have added sugars. And so you want to make sure that when you look at something fat-free before you take the plunge on those, that you look at how many carbs it has as well, because that's your simple carbs again, and they will make a bad effect and cause fat storage even more so than the fat content in the food. So kind of crazy, I know, but yeah, that's how it works. So anyway, let's moving on. When you plan your macros, your fats, 20 to 35% of your daily calories from healthy fat, and we're talking about low-fat cheeses, fatty fish, almonds, nuts, olives, avocados, olive oil. We're talking about the healthy fats, and that's all you need. Like, that's a pretty good amount to get what you need from them. I'm not a proponent of any kind of diet. So that being said, that's why I say no to keto. Listen, here's the deal. Keto is considered short term, and we're just now seeing, you can lose weight on keto, but you're losing a lot of water weight because carbs are made up of a lot of water. So you take carbs out, you're going to lose a lot of water weight. You're also, but guess what? So keto is, for one, not healthy to maintain for a lifetime. And for another thing, we're just now starting to see the side effects. I've read a couple studies just in the last week or two of how they're seeing heart disease more often in keto. And so my advice to any clients I meet with or anything is say no to keto. Say no to any diet. Just learn how to eat appropriately. That's all that you need. And so anyway, that's it on fats and keto. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you this way to eat. However, I do want to emphasize, I'm a research junkie. Let me back up. I'm a research junkie. I love to research fitness, nutrition as well, especially how it plays into fitness. And this is what I'm going to describe here and what you probably are reading on the screen is considered the most effective way to lose or maintain weight loss. To lose weight, let me say that again, to lose weight or to maintain. It is not the only way. I know there's people that do intermittent fasting. Middle-aged men, or sorry, not middle-aged, younger men seem to have the best effect from intermittent fasting. But there's so many different ways to eat. So you don't take this as this is the only way I should eat food if I want to, or the only way I should plan my daily eating in order to lose weight, because that's not true. But this is the best way, just from the decades of research that have gone into it. And so it's the one that's the most sustainable over time. I guess that's the best thing I can tell you is of all of the different diets and things that have been studied, this is the most sustainable. And anyway, let me break it down. How often and how much should I eat? So every 2 to 4 hours, and remember, you're not eating giant meals. You're eating smaller meals. You're keeping the body working. That's important. Each meal needs to include protein. We want to keep building muscle. This is from Tom Venuto. He's a very famous guy in the fitness and nutrition world. He has a great book if you're ever looking for a book to read. Burn the fat, feed the muscle. Anyway, this is from his book. This is how the leanest, most muscular people in the world have been eating for years. The success record in the fitness world goes back more than 3 decades, and this is the most tested, proven, and widely used meal plan. And what he's talking about is eating every 2 to 4 hours, which is generally 5 to 6 meals a day. And then, let me back up. And then another dietitian who I was watching her a seminar by, and I forget her name, but she's very, very big in the fitness industry as well. But what she works with are people who are also doing physical fitness with it. So like if they're obese or if they're just slightly overweight or maybe they're athletes. So she kind of, well, I guess you could say she's a kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to nutrition. But anyway, she was presenting at a conference for the National Strength and Conditioning Association that I was listening to, and she suggests the 2/3 rule, and she tells all of her clients this. And she also feeds them 5 or 6 meals a day, but she says to have 2/3 of your food eaten by the time 2/3 of the day is over, which ends up making dinner one of your lighter meals, and your breakfast one of your heavier meals, and lunch as well. Especially for people who work out anytime before dinner. That's especially true because then you'll have the energy you need for those workouts. Now, if you work out after dinner in the evening, you may have to change that up a bit, just so you know. All right, know your numbers. Okay, this is if you're really serious, if you have a goal about weight loss or muscle gain. It is hard to do that if you do not know your numbers. If you don't know your BMR, the calories you burn just being alive, that's some people refer to it as your comatose calorie burning. So if you're in a coma, if you're doing absolutely nothing, your body's just trying to be alive, that's how many calories you burn. This is not the number of calories you want to eat a day. If you eat only your BMR amount of calories, then you're going to be killing your muscle. You're going to be just absolutely losing muscle quickly. So this is a website that you can go to, but I'm not going to go to it. I'm going to let you just do that on your own. So just Google BMR, or some people refer to it as RMR, resting metabolic rate. This is basal metabolic rate. They're the same thing. So either one, you go in, you put in some information about yourself, and it tells you what your BMR estimated is. And then you want to know, even more importantly, is your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. Now, this is an estimated number of calories you burn with your activity. So that's being alive plus actually getting out of bed. Now, when you calculate your TDEE, you subtract 300 to 500 calories for weight loss. This is a very safe range. This gives you the 1 to 2 pounds a week. And it also it's also sustainable, so you can still build some muscle there. Remember, building muscle increases BMR, increases your calories you're burning just being alive, and makes it so that you burn more calories by, well, just being alive. So you don't want to go significantly under this 300 to 500 calories of your TDEE, because if you go too far underneath it, you won't be gaining muscle. You don't gain muscle, this number gets lower, and you're just in a never-ending cycle of not losing weight, because your body gets in storage mode because it thinks you're starving it. All right, sample meal plan. I have a sample meal plan here I will show you guys. Let me see if I can